Good morning, friends. Welcome to this is Morning Jumpstart, but this morning it's Morning Jumpstart with the Masterworks title page. So why don't we just call this a special Morning Jumpstart? I'm Jason Meyer. Hope everybody is well. We've got a full program today, lots of artists, and we've got some new people on board today. So I want to thank all the new people for having the courage to submit some stuff and turn it in. So we're going to start with some drawings at the start of the show and talk about some forms and things like that. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to get into our paintings and our, we got rub outs, starts of paintings. We got all kinds of things going. So with that in mind, I want to remind everybody, we have been in a special situation here with the pandemic and all. So within the next couple of months, some of these programs are going to be transforming just a little bit as our lives change. So if you've been sitting around watching and enjoying the show, make sure that you check out our online school. You can find that through their website, jasonmeyer.com. Jason, Jason, and Meyer is a little bit tricky. Just think Mary, and then the last two letters got all mixed up. Right? Reverse the R and the Y of Mary, and you got jasonmeyer.com. All the information you need. Some of these programs may be going over there. It's free to sign up, and we do have free offerings and things through there. So if you're enjoying this through YouTube and haven't connected with us outside, you might want to make sure to check out that school. Okay, without further ado, let's check in with everybody this morning. Miss Susan, good to have you here. And Shakti, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope to have you here. So for some of the new people here listening, we're hoping Shakti and Susan can work their way into the Mentors program. So I'm glad to have them here to see some of these drawings and things coming through. Okay, let's see, what's the buttons? I'm feeling very creative today, so I may be a little technologically challenged. I think we'll find out. Here we go. Here we go. That's enough of me, don't you think? Right there. So this is from our Facebook Sketch Club that we have 3 times a week over on Facebook. And Paula was nice enough and brave enough to send something in. This was the first one she said she was happy with. So I think it's great. And what I love about this, Paula, is one of the first, when we come to class, one of the first things we talk about that we have to have in our work is visibility. And the visibility comes from simply a dark against the light. And so we have these great huge simplified dark, light, dark. That's what makes it work very powerful, is the simplicity. And what we mean by that is, as you start looking for the photo, and if you're new, you start thinking, okay, well, artists, they've got really good vision, they can see, so how much can I see? How much can I see? And it's a little deceiving, because the opposite is what the artist does. Is how big and simple can I see it? How big and simple can I see it? And you've done a fantastic job here. I'd like to point out a couple of things that make a huge difference on these. So the back of the neck to the front of the neck. Once you start looking, you'll see that the neck attaches to the chest down, and to the back it's further up. And so it's real important to show that angle there. So great job doing that. And I love just the little bit of jaw under there. And why I wanted to point that out is because it gives a little more definition without breaking up our big pattern. Okay, because the big pattern is what makes this strong, so we want to hold that. So I just wanted to say hi to Paula and thank you for sharing. And I thought this was fantastic. So I hope you'll continue with Sketch Club, and let us know how you're doing. Let us know how you're doing. Great, great, great. It's kind of funny seeing yourself as a drawing. Even though I've been doing this quite a while, you never get over that. That's a good job. That's a good job. Maybe I should make that my profile picture or something. Okay, and next we're going to come up to Leah. This is Leah's first month with the group, starting out. So I'm really so proud of her. One, for, you know, it takes a lot of bravery to show your work. It really does. And this is, this top one is what we started with, right? And then she went back and did some more studies down here and down here. And I should have loaded up a different one. I didn't realize this was so small. So these are great. Let me see if there's, do I have a different version in here? I do. I do. Excellent. So let's look at this. And I'm just going to point out one or two things here because you're seeing everything really well. But let's talk about simple forms. So, all right, I bet you I can do better than this big old thing. Let's see here. Let's see. Almost too many choices, huh? Almost too many choices. How about that one? That's still pretty big. Anyway, we'll see what we can do. We've got the light coming in this way. And you have to be careful when you set things up that it's with a single light source. If you set it up, especially in a room with multiple light sources, you won't see the light shadow patterns that we're after. We're after light shadow patterns from a single light source. Okay, and the reason we do that is because that makes form more descriptive, right? So it's easier to do these things. But underneath this hat, let's shade that too. So that's kind of the inside, and so then the underside would be. And you see almost instantly that looks better. And then if we send it from one other side, right, then if we show shadow on that side, then that can even be a little more descriptive. Okay, and again, it didn't look like in that scenario that was set up that had a single light source, so that can be a little bit tricky. But Leah's been hard at work. I'm so proud of her. She's done other things. So she went and she set up her own still life. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to look at this hat and let's see what this is in basic forms. Do we have a cylinder? Yeah, this part of the hat's just a cylinder. Now, it's got some indentions and things like that, of course. And this is basically a flat round with a little curve in it, right? So we'll get to that. But let's hit the cylinder first. So what does our cylinders look like? Well, if a cylinder is two parallel lines with a circle or an ellipse at the bottom. And at the top, it looks like that. And if we show the light coming in like that, which is how we want to, what'll happen is this side will be shaded, and we can see that here. You see that shaded? Okay. So we want to assign a value to that, and we're going to call it number 4, our dark value. And then I see that Now, how, if our light is going to be coming in from this direction, do you see that this side of the hat faces this way, and then as we come from there to the front of the hat is facing like that, and then the side is facing. So this side of the hat can't catch the same light, right? This side is turning away. So that's going to be in shadow there. And then the top would be in light. Okay? Generally speaking, in these scenarios, we're going to get a highlight or a lighter thing somewhere right around here. So that would mean on the hat right here, and if it was even, it would be right down like that. Okay, but this has some wibble wobble in it, right? This isn't even. This isn't a big metal pipe. Clean off the manufacturing floor. So, what can we do with our four values? So let's take our cylinder, and I'm going right over the shadow. I hope you can see that. And then you see this turns under, the indentation is a turning away from the light. A turning away from the light on a little hook over here. And then if that's in shadow, we've got to show a cast shadow, and that cast shadow can go a long way to showing what it's falling on. And again, this would cast a shadow. And now I'm just thinking hat right now. I'm not thinking what is this hat sitting on. Okay, and then there's a little rim at the top that catches like that. Okay, so let's take this hat away, and so you end up with something that looks like that. It's a little bit funky and it's a little bit abstract. But if you well, you've been doing it. When you draw a hat, is this what you think about? At first, no. But in this training as an artist, what I want you to, what I hope to get you to do is to start seeing this. And the reason is because I can't do hat. I've got dark, I can do dark. I can do gray, right? I can do a number 2 value, I can do a number, but I don't have any hat. So we got to translate this somehow that the viewer can also interpret it. And that's where the basic forms come in. And once we learn the basic forms, then we can build everything off of that. If you're unfamiliar with the basic forms, we've got an online course set up. It's just being finished up right now. I know there's a couple of you waiting on those last few lessons. If it's within my power, it will be done this week. So thank you for your patience. But there's a lot already there. There's the cube, the sphere, the cylinder, the cone. And with that, that's what we're going to do. Now, what I hope you learn here, and again, you're not going to learn it immediately, it'll take some time, is that to make something a little bit stronger, we want to see if we can't connect these shapes. And there was a cast shadow. Is there any way I can bring that cast shadow? So instead of these individual shapes, how can we turn that into almost a single shape or into fewer shapes? Do you see how this here is stronger than, before we had a connection. That's a little bit random. But now there feels like there's a little more solidity in there. Okay? So again, this is too short of a feedback to go too much into that, but that's basically what we're doing there. And you were doing a great job. You know, the first thing is just to do it. Just to do it. So we've got our cast shadow. Did you layer up, Jason? Jason, did you layer up? I'm pretty sure I didn't. I'll do that now. Okay. See, even Jason's getting better. Even Jason's getting better. If I can get better, anybody can do it. And then we had this side in shadow because it's cone. And you're right with the indentation, but it was a little bit more over here. But that's okay. We're not copying. Right? That's the other thing, is I don't want you guys to copy, but I do want you to understand what's happening and why we do it this way. So then we'll pretend to cast shadows. Won't pretend, but a cast shadow would basically be there. There might be a little light coming behind the cap and hitting on the rim of the, right? It looks like a little bit of a cast shadow, doesn't it? Look how descriptive that is. Okay, so a little bit like that. Again, great job. Divide those tones and try to start seeing, like, I love the table here. I just love the table is a tone. And one other thing you can practice is, as you're doing these back and forths, it takes some practice, but see if you can't learn to make it a little bit more even as you go. Right? Without so much space in between. Okay, so that's one of the skills that we're going to need working with anything. You want to get even tone. That's one of the skills, the first skill. Then after you're able to get even tone, what you want to be able to do is gradate, or be able to walk off. And it's not so easy. It's not so easy. Right, can we go from really dark on this side to a little bit lighter? So this is the pressure that you're putting on the canvas and how many times you're going back and forth. Do you see that? So this is a skill that anybody can practice and that you should practice. Every time I went to art class, I would get there early and I would do this over and over and over just to get my hand kind of trained and sensitive to it. And that'll help too. So a little exercise. Great job, Leah. Let's see what we got here. Let's see, I missed a few things. Oh, there we go. I feel better. I always feel better when Cindy's around. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Yes, Paula, nice. Nice how the ground pushes the, yes. Yeah, that black background really makes that white pop. Excellent. Hey, Miss Claudia. Missing you too. Missing you too. Can't wait till we get to give you a hug. So, Mr. Thomas here. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so let's keep moving along here. How are we doing on time? Not too bad. I want to take a few minutes to begin with to slow down a little bit, to go over some of these things that we talk about. And how even when you feel you don't have much skill or don't really know what you're doing, there's things you can do. And I'll give you, for example, just a couple of examples right now. And I already showed you one, but just sit down and, okay, how dark can I get that? Okay, and then the first thing is, can I get that dark even? Just keep an even tone with dark. Right? No drawings involved. Just a little. All right, cool. And then with the same instrument, whatever you're using, can you get an even tone gray? And you can see it's not too easy. Usually what happens is we're gonna get something like this. Can you see how that's not even? It's not that we might not ever need something like that, but the skill you need is to be able to get that evenness. And now this is true in charcoal and this is true in paint. And here, how we teach and what we talk about is we're not really talking about line, the language of line, we're talking about the language of mass. And so we don't want to think so much line to line or here, we want to think, okay, this big mass tone is this large in this shape, and it's against this other mass tone that's this large in this shape. So for example, that's one thing that you could do for an exercise. Another thing you could do is you could take like a simple ball, just do that, and then see if you can't feel your way around the ball, right? Like, see if you can't make it seem like it's three-dimensional and you're tracing around it. Tracing around it. Oops. And look, it doesn't take much to ruin it. Do you guys see that little bitty straight there? That ruined that sense. That doesn't feel round, does it? And you'll have lots of that when you start. But what you want to do is, you want this in your nervous system. And it takes some time. So this isn't something that you just win at. It's just something that as you're waiting on the phone, you just doodle. You got a few minutes, drinking your coffee, having your wine, drinking your tea, having your lunch. Right? If you've got a cube, and this one would be floating in the air, right? Because we're sending it, but try to go on that side. Try to go on that side, and then how is that different? Again, and what I'm doing is what would it be like if I took my finger and just traced it along this side? And then it's going to change. I've got to show that change. I've got to show that change. And I want to feel that like this is underneath. This is underneath. This is underneath. Okay, and this is out front. This is out front. This is out front. And then over around the side. Over around the side. Now, hopefully you might go, man, that is insane. What do you mean on the bottom and the front around the... This is next to that, and that's next to that. It's a flat piece of paper. They're right next to each other. Yes, but our job as an artist is to create the illusion of three dimensions. And in order for you to draw it, you're going to need to see it in your mind. And you're not born with that vision, but this is how you begin to see that vision and exercise that vision and get stronger with it. Okay? So I want to welcome all the newer people here, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Tanya here's watching. She's having computer issues, so can't type in the chat. All right. Hello, Tanya. Hello. And yes, hugs will be returning soon. They're going to return soon. For some of us, I feel really bad for all you non-huggers that have been living the dream this past thing. Oof. Okay, that was a joke, by the way. That was a joke. So Tanya put Jay on a balcony in an urban setting, and I can blame all of this on Susan and her creativity. So great. And yeah, it's looking really good. I love your design. I love your connection. So you've got a lot of really good things happening. And I even love that sphere sitting on the balcony there. That's, you trying to make the teacher happy? Well, you did. You did. I got a little smile on my face. That is excellent. That is excellent, excellent, excellent. So what's next for you, Tanya? What's next? Well, it's really about a few little details. And what I'm going to focus on today is edge. Well, yeah, let's talk about edge, because we're the first thing in this is you just want to develop a simple light dark pattern. Okay, so that would be step number one, and this is where we're at. We're going to talk about edges in this layer, but then the next step, Tanya, is as you push this forward, let's see if we can't get our focus on that young man's face. And again, I don't know if the photo, how accurate the photo is, because I can see that you've kind of rubbed out lighter right up against the wall. I mean, the wall. The eye, between the hair and the eye on the skin there, and that's where we want to. But it's just not quite enough, right? It's not obvious. And so we want to make it a little more obvious. But again, I'm being pretty hard. I mean, you set up a great pattern. So anyway, the first thing's the pattern. Get this overall pattern going. Then it's going to be focus. Are we really seeing what we need to see, or do we need to change a few things and soften to get our focus more where we need to go? And that's what I would do right now. And after we have the focus, we can set up our big light dark patterns. We can get them to that's step one. We can get them to a particular place in the canvas. That's step two. And then the third level, now these all steps might not happen here, but as you're learning, right? First you're gonna have to learn, oh, just light dark pattern. Okay, I can, wait, no, that's wrong. No, yeah, no. Man, 15 paintings and yeah, sometimes it takes a little while. Light dark pattern. Okay, I got a light dark pattern. Okay, but where are you making them look on the canvas? That's the next thing. Well, oh. Okay, so within that light dark pattern, we've got to have a definite focus. Second step. Okay, then after we're able to get a definite focus, and again, for many people, this is how you learn. This is a growth. And then the third thing is, okay, well, we can get them there, but why don't we let them dance a little bit? Let's not just hold them prisoner in a cell in a little piece of the canvas, but let's get them there, and then let's call that our da. So if we got focus, we got da. Da. But we got to evolve. I mean, that's good. So how about a little da, da, da. Da, 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 da. You see what we're doing? We're going to get less areas of focus that read as a second reading or a second step and a third step. Okay, so no matter where you are, you should be fitting in on one of those things you're attempting to do. If you're brand new, the first thing is the light dark pattern. Once you're able to establish that, okay, do we have a good focus? If we've got a good focus, then okay, do we have good movement? All right, so I'm going to go over one simple thing here that we can take right now, Tanya. And it's the idea of form. Let's see, how small is my... Oh, excellent. So if we come down here to the sphere, then where something starts, we need a hard edge. And when something stops, we need a hard edge. And then in between there, we need a soft edge. So how might that look here? So in this paint, well, for what I can show you on my thing, if we used, let's use a background color. Yeah, we'll use that as a background color. So let's have a place where our sphere can live. So we got a background color. And then if we get a light color, there we go. At some point right here where this thing starts, we need a hard edge. Now it doesn't have to be hard edged all the way around, but we need at least a little bit of a hard edge for that sphere to go, hey guys, I am somebody. I'm somebody too. Don't treat me like I'm invisible. So we're okay, sphere, we got you. We got you. Take it easy. Take it easy, buddy. And then where it ends, we need a hard edge. Okay. And of course there's the cast shadow. And all that. Then in between, here, this is a soft edge. As the object transitions from light to shadow, we're going to have a soft edge here. And then in a couple places where the light and the shadow meet, we would like that to be what we call open edges. Oops, what happened? Oh, I know what happened there. I thought I was doing one thing and I'm doing something else. So we want soft edges right here. I think just to be able to go in and out. And we need a hard edge. So it doesn't have to be hard edged all the way around. So what might that look like? Well, here, right, if that light, well, some of that light would probably shine between John see, my pencil's being a little finicky, so. Do you see how that gives that more definition there? And then the same would be true on the front side. You know, how would we need to separate? Well, the question would be, do we want to go to the sphere or do we want to go to his shirt? And we probably want to go beyond the sphere to his shirt. So what I would try to do then is to get that sphere in light. Let's see. No, that's not quite, not showing up. Hold on. Here we go. It doesn't have to, but we got to separate it from that somehow. Right, maybe this is darker, richer, and so our light here has to be like that. And then if our shadow is just shadow, right, the same as the shadow on him. But again, then we get clever with our little design and say, yeah, but then there's light passing on the edge like that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, why I went through all of that is because let's start right here on his shoulder. On his shoulder, at some point here, we want a hard edge. Right? On the back of that collar, let's have a harder edge. Now, there doesn't have to be a huge value, right? A harder edge. But Jason, you said if you stare at the edge, it makes the thing look flat. That is true. So we have a situation here. We have a situation. we need a hard edge, but we don't want this to look flat. Our soft edge. Right, as this turns. So as it turns over, these will be soft edges. And then the other side of these, yeah, could be a harder edge. Okay? Now, to get back to our question of what do we do about those hard edges, well then we've got to have something stronger in the middle to bring you off of that edge and make you focus in the middle of it. And that's when it'll look round. And that's why we might have little highlights here, and like you did a little highlight there. And then, but those highlights are going to be off the edge of the form. Okay? Off the edge of the form. And then look how effective, let's see if I can get small enough here. And again, just like a little top plane there of the baseball cap. What if we put a little top plane? It doesn't have to be white. It could be like a little bluer or something. Do you see how that just adds so much dimension? And now you don't want to go crazy, but again, if we can make it obvious. And so think about those edges just a little bit. And how would those edges apply up here? How would those edges apply up here? Let's see. I think I'm gonna have to go to red. Just have to go to red to make it clear. So that's a cast shadow, so that's going to be a hard edge. But here and here, those are form. So we want to be a little softer here. And then at the bottom, you're going to cast a shadow, a hard edge. And then we're going to have soft edge here. And then give us a really hard edge on the nose to describe that nose. Okay, so let me give you a couple hard edges and see if that helps us out here. So with that nose, I want to say, okay, that's coming, and this is a cast shadow, so we can do that. Then it turns around, and then it's a soft shadow on this side. It's going to come under the eye a little bit. Now, can you feel that kind of structure? And then the same here, there's a corner right here. So we want to show that when we get to that point, that we've got to change directions. Right? And that's going to help build the structure. The structure. You see how there's a little more structure on that head now? Okay. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And again, if it's a little too much, there's a whole course on the fundamental forms in charcoal. Check that out. It's only $25. But with those forms, you can create and build everything. And most of the times, that's a solution to all these problems here. All right, Tanya, this seems like a big leap for you. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I've seen some things from you before, but I don't know. It's strong. So keep it up. See if you can't pay a little more attention to those edges right now. That hard, soft, hard. And see if that doesn't create a little more structure in your painting. All right. Hard time controlling the paint with the medium. It was slippery. Okay. So Tanya says she had a hard time controlling the paint with the medium. It was slippery. That's part of this process, is learning to control the paint. How much medium, how much, and it comes with practice. It's not a gimme. You got to get a feel for it. All right. Yeah, Tanya. So really great. Feel it. Definitely. Yeah, there's a bit of surrealism in it. That was awesome. And Claudia agrees. Claudia agrees. Well, yeah, I think that this whole mask thing adds to that, doesn't it? It definitely adds to it. Definitely adds to it. All right, good job, Tanya. Good job, good job, good job. All right, keep at it. All right, on the screen now, I believe this is Katie, if I've got everything right. This is Katie. Um, yeah, yeah. I think this is a great start as we go forward. As we go forward, I mean, there's a lot of really great things about here, but like always, the hard things in the measure. Yeah, we win. But this guy's sneaking up on us a little bit. That guy's sneaking up on us a little bit, so we want to be careful. And then I'd like you to think about one other thing. Consider moving, we're going to call this the most right here. It's the most background. The most BG. See if you wouldn't be happier. Oh, Jason, you didn't layer up. You didn't layer up, Jason. My gosh. We need a dog trainer for this guy. We need a dog trainer or something. What if we took like this brightest and stuck it on the other side of the head? And what that'll do, it's going to help us. And I'm not necessarily correcting the drawing here. It's a little, but I just want to show. And the reason you might want to do that here instead of over here, the directions of the eyes, they're psychologically already putting so much weight over there. And so I think the thing will feel a little more balanced and actually a little more complete and full. If we do that most of the background and not this. Let's see if we can. Do you see how it just. And the reason I say that, Katie, is that's the dot, dot, dot. Right? This. I know for new people this may sound totally insane, but that's all right. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it. Right now, and again, this is just a start, so you're great. But this is the. Right at the start is where we want to really think about the finish. And right now we've got da, da. And what we want is we want da, da. Da, da. Or da, da. Okay? In other words, get definitely more impact there. And then make sure this is strong enough. It's not going to compete with that. It will not compete. This guy right there, number 1, grand prize winner. Right? And it's not even close. It can't be close. He wins. But even if they come back 3 or 4 minutes behind in second, there's still a second place. There's still a second place. Okay? So that conceptually overall is woo, that was the wrong button. Is try to do that, and then when you do that, and again, I know this is a start, but just Like I want to look at that. I want to put that in, and I want to get back and I want to say, hey, is that strong? Well, it seems about equal with that background. Right? So what could I do to make that stronger? Well, I could make that bigger, or I could come in here and maybe make this a little lighter. But again, I want to try to keep it, the bigger, flatter it is, the more power it'll have. And so now when I look at that, I think, oh yeah, we go to that for it first, right? So even at this stage, for you, what I would like you to do, Katie, is see if you can't get a sense of that aesthetic balance immediately. All right, you're pretty good. And then what would help after from here is, well, can we get light shadow on here? It looks like you may already have it and maybe it's not showing up. And if you do have light and shadow, then the next step would be, let's see, I bet you I could pick it up right here. No, where'd it go? Come on, there we is. Just to get a little form on some of this. It doesn't have to be a lot. You see, just a little bit can go a long way. A little light, little more there. Yeah. But as far as the whole thing, I feel like this is a good, solid composition, right? I mean, it feels like this is a detective novel or something, right? And this, but except that I don't think they let detectives be this young, so, you know, it'd be in a children's book or something. But great, great, great. If you don't know as you go forward, what I like to do is sometimes when I start again, I'll come back. I'll come back, and then on these edges, like on the edges in here, you know, I don't want the paint clotted, but like any of that yellow or light on the edges, because you come back, just start knocking that down. Knocking that down. And what you're going to find, that is, if you keep all the stuff on the outside quiet, that the stuff on the inside is like automatically, like just automatically. I mean, it's almost kind of like, wait, what is that, a magic trick or something? Hey, you see? So a little bit can go a long way. So what's the difference here? Well, we're going to knock up the skin tone so that it wins. Just a little bit of form on him and taking away everything on the edge. Okay. After that, your next step would be, your next step's going to be develop a little bit of form in here. Right, make that more, and man, and sell it. That's a step after that. That's a step after that. All right, good job, Katie. Good job. Oh, I thought I was running by. I'm not doing too bad. I'm not doing too bad. So let's see. If I remember right, this is. Oops, I gotta look up before I move on with people. I gotta look up before I move on to people. All right. So Tanya, good job, Tanya. Yeah, that was a really nice mood in Katie's there. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Katie. Katie lives on the island, so I expect extra beautiful things from you, Katie. You're gonna be held to a higher account. You live on the islands, so your painting's got to be nicer. Um, windy, windy, windy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I love what I'm seeing here. Let's take a little minute. Now, I don't know if this is overexposure on the photograph or if it's this light. Um, and it looks to me like the photograph may be a little overexposed, but still, let's talk about what I'd like to make sure that we get here. Is actually, let's do it this way. With the skin tone, whoopsie daisy. If we'll get it just a bit darker and richer, now not darker as in a dark, but darker in the sense that if you put a highlight on there, it's really going to jump off. And again, this may just be the photograph, Wendy, I don't know. So you look at your painting and see, but can you see how I want to really be able to tell the difference between the skin and light and highlight, right? There's got to be a bit of a jump there. A bit of a jump there. Do you see that? And that might take just a little while to get into your eye, but you want to really read it on the palette, right? You could stick a little bit of a like a pure white, and then next to it, make sure that you just get it dark enough and rich enough that that white could sit on there and own the room, right? Sing a cappella and everybody can hear them. We just need that nice big step there. And again, I don't know if it's the photo or not. It looks to me like you've done the background here more on that back shoulder like I was talking about in the last one. But it feels like there's too much light in there. Too much white. Too much white. So what'll happen is we can darken this up because this is quite a bit darker there. Let's not go quite that dark. Well, okay. So look, I'm gonna go quite a bit darker, but we want to make sure all that is shadowed on this side of the face, that the face in shadow is shadow too. I'll get back to that. But this background, so if this is going to be most, this is going to be most over here. Yeah. And then again, it may be drying out a little bit, but don't have any light in your shadow. When I say light, any white in your shadow. Don't have any white in your shadow. There we go. So in his skin tone and shadow, I'm going to still keep that relatively dark too. If you wanted to separate the hair out from it, you could a little bit. And then that mask, if you want it slightly darker. But anything here, let's keep dark. A little shadow here. Right, and what that's going to do is it's going to help that darker, richer light just really come to life. Okay, and as you put on the second coat too, with your blacks here, and again, it may be the film. What you want to do is take your ivory black and then put a touch of cad red in it. You know, not so much that it turns warm. Like, see, this is still much darker. Not much darker, but different than my Dee. Words, 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 words. Different than my skin tone in dark, right? But they still read as dark. And so you'll have to be careful because you don't want to get that other paint in it, right? Or that it'll lose some of its richness. But what I'm doing here is I'm making sure my black, again, is like a definite location. And this can be a little tricky when we're trying to soften edges and stuff. But even up in here, let's get that definite. And sometimes this is easier to do on the second. All right, underneath, so got that there. All right, we're going to show the forms. Show the forms. Looks like you got it. Yeah, but you see as I just a little bit darker and definite. And then that'll help when we get to that hat. Right, and even under here. You see, and then we can adjust from there. So I hope that helps a little bit. I hope that helps. Let's see. Let's see. Does it help, Jason? Have a look. Let the people judge for themselves. Okay. So you want your dark, get the idea of the dark as a hold. As a hold. I had a really hard time getting my values dark enough because I just didn't know how to read. They always look too heavy. But they're going to look too heavy till you get everything on there and until you get those edge sequences right. But you still, that definite jump. Go with the definite, right? At the first, when we start, we want definite. And then as the rest of the painting, what it is taking some of that definite away and smoothing things over, connecting things, joining things. But if we don't have that definite at first, when we go to join, everything just completely turns to mush. Okay, so as definite as we can be, and then we can get a little more sensitive as we go. All right? Great job, Wendy. Great job. So keep it up, kiddo. So Wendy says, photos overexposed too much. I had a feeling. So take everything I said with a grain of salt. Look at your painting. If it applies, do it. But like if your skin tone, if a white definitely shows up, you're good. You're good. Say thank you, Jason. I got it. I like it. Yeah. Claudia says it looks like he's leaning in to hear someone. So that's awesome. Yeah, whenever, that's the real difference in these portraits, and what'll bring them alive is if there's a doingness to them. And that doingness comes from the gesture. Right? And it doesn't have to be a doingness like slamming a sledgehammer somewhere or driving a car a million. No, it can be a simple tilt or a simple look or a simple gaze. But it makes a big difference. A big difference. All right. All right. Katie's getting all kinds of love. Good. Yeah. Yeah, Susan was saying on Katie's. Turn of the head. Exactly. Brings it to life. It brings it to life. Exactly. Again, this isn't coming from me. You can, I hope most of you, if not now, will learn to see these things for yourself. And that'll make it true. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome, Wendy. Great. All right, so I'm going to be going just a couple minutes over, but we got one last one, but absolutely not the least one. Miss Jan. Look at Jan tearing it up. This is fantastic, Jan. Fantastic. What to say here? I don't know what to say. I think it'll look good in the gallery, Jan. If you're going to touch it anymore, I think what I might say is not everywhere, but see if I don't know. I don't know. If you're going to do anything, what I might do is like right up here. What's just a little richer chroma? Like that would be transparency there. And then kind of right between the light and the shadow. I wonder, because sometimes it takes very little color to actually get a feeling of a lot of color in there. Well, somebody didn't layer up. Somebody did not layer up. Oh my gosh. So let's see what would happen if we just stuck. That would actually be a little bit lighter, a little bit warmer. Something like that. Right, again, it's a question of how much, and you know, it often doesn't take very much. Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, if you wanted to, a little bit more like that. On the hat, it's pretty, I think she said this is really small, so it might be hard to do. But even just a bit of that color on them. But I know you got such a gesture and it's such a feeling to this, Jan, that I don't know. Unless you're not happy with it, frame that thing. Frame it and get a price tag on it. All right, get a price tag on it. But strong, strong shapes on here. I love those strong contours. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's, you know, if it works, it works. And that's the other thing is you can always quote unquote find things wrong that aren't right, but that's not what a painting's about. The painting's about having an idea in your head and then trying to express that idea. Most people never hit it 100%. Ever. But we'll get close enough or come up with something that's so fantastic that you stick it in the gallery and you sell it. You sell it, you sell it. Yeah, right? Putting the two of them together. That's so funny. Jan. So this is Jan, not Janny, guys. This is Jan. A little bit different. Jan. I hope I didn't say Janny. Oops, maybe I said the wrong thing. I get it wrong sometimes. Anyway, man, what a journey today. We covered a lot of ground. Jan, fantastic. Kudos, kiddo. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Thanks for hanging out with us, for sticking with it. All right, everybody. So we're going to wrap the show up. Again, if you've been hanging around and watching these and I'm enjoying these, as the world begins to open back up, hopefully not open up and shut down, the schedule might be changing a little bit. So make sure to check out our online school. You can check it out at jasonmeyer.com. I'll have the website up here on the screen in just a second. So you know how to spell Meyer, M-A-Y-R, Mary, R in the Y, do-si-do, and you got Meyer. That's how it goes. Jan. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Uh-oh, you're picking up my speech habit, Shakti. Just repeating something until it gets into your brain. I love it. All right. Yeah, warm and alive. Great job. All right. So thank you, Susan. Thank you, Shakti. Thank you, Claudia, Jan, Wendy, Paula, Tanya, Leah, Katie, Jan. Did I miss anybody? Cindy, as always. You guys, Tom. What a crew. What a crew today. All right, everybody. Be back tonight for Sketch Club. In the meantime, I hope you get some studio time. Maybe see if you can't incorporate a suggestion or two. All right, let's go to work, everybody. Love ya. Have a good day. Bye bye.